What up, everybody? Welcome to the Chaos. My name is Brad. The stock market is crazy and chaotic, and my mission to help you guys own it. It has been a crazy day today in the markets. Obviously, this whole week has been a bit nuts. Let me adjust this camera real quick. There we go. It's been a bit nuts. Don Fron was supposed to be here this afternoon. He is not able to do so. He said that there's an apparent outage. I don't know if it's an internet outage or what, but he said that he's not able to attend today's stream. So unfortunately, you're just stuck with me. So either way, guys, we have an amazing stream today. We have Snapchat that'll be reporting earnings, and that's going to be really pivotal in how it's going to impact a lot of the other companies as well, such as Facebook, aka Meta Platforms. And then we also have Twitter. Google is going to be impacted by this as well, and it's going to come down to a few key metrics, and I want to talk about those in just a minute. But before I get into anything else, we also have plenty of other earnings that we're going to be reacting to, guys. But I wanted to shout out my starting five. You guys know who it is. Kevin Hawthorne, lost one. Good to see you, bro. Good to see you, bro. Jeff Chocolate, Savvy Money Show, and Stream Elements. Apparently, there's a bot running. I guess we'll see. You guys are the starting five. If you did not make the starting five, it could be because you are not subscribed to the channel or hitting that notification bell. So make sure that you're doing both of those, and then come into the chat as soon as I go live at 3:45 p.m. Eastern time, and you just might show up in the next starting five. So guys, as mentioned, interesting. Tuan Lee says shorting Whirlpool. Let's talk about that. We'll talk about that in a moment. I actually didn't even think about bringing Whirlpool to the table. They do have earnings, but I didn't know if anybody actually gave a shit about Whirlpool. But I will absolutely cover this stock now that you brought it up. So I'll have those earnings ready for you. Let's get into the Snap real quick. What's the preview here? Snap has been absolutely just pummeled. It's down 86% over the last 52 weeks. It's down 77% since the beginning of the year to date. Their forward PE is still pretty high considering where we're at, and it's all based off of growth and the slowing of growth. Estimated earnings per share, the earnings expectations here are a loss of 1 cent. I believe it was somewhere around $1.1 billion is the expectation there. Last time around, they missed pretty horribly on all fronts. And so this is going to be an interesting earnings for them. The real key is going to be monthly active and daily active users. Once upon a time, not that long ago, Snapchat was the platform of choice for those individuals between the ages of 18 and 24. And in fact, almost 90% of the U.S. population had or used Snapchat between those ages just in 2020 and even parts of 2021. You know what really ruined them or has really made an impact on them? It's been TikTok. TikTok is certainly making a huge impact on the social media world and really just taking it over by force. So we're looking at many headwinds for Snap. I don't know if this is going to be the quarter where they could certainly start to turn things around. But listen, everybody's gunning for TikTok right now. YouTube, for those of you watching me right here on YouTube, YouTube Shorts has really been a thing. YouTube's been pushing the shit out of Shorts to try to compete with TikTok. I have mixed feelings about this, to be honest with you, just from a personal standpoint on the types of platforms that only require your short attention spans. One of the big reasons is just because you miss so much, right? It's just kind of like somebody who just skims through a book or speed reads through something and they miss half the information, right? You can only put so much into a 60-second clip. And yeah, I get it. It's nice. It's easy to digest. But at the same time, it's like, man, I could tell you so much more in 8 minutes time and give you more context and give you more information, more to actually form an opinion on. And I just don't think that 60 seconds is actually constructive for anybody. But that's neither here nor there. The fact of the matter is that it is that's the world we live in. So YouTube had to pivot. So did Snap, and Snap is working in that short form content space as well as Facebook. So if Snap comes in and their daily active users, the growth suffers, that's going to impact the stock, and that's not only just going to impact Snap. We're going to see a reaction to this on Meta platforms. You're going to see Twitter also move downward. We're also going to see Alphabet now. Consequently, we see Snap actually come in and see growth, then we're going to see those stocks move up too. So I actually ended up putting a poll in this morning, or this afternoon, I should say this morning. Gosh, it's been a day, guys. This afternoon, mentioning, are you buying Snap? The YouTube poll I asked, are you buying Snap? So far, 35 of you guys have participated in the poll. 14% of you are looking to buy Snap after earnings. 19% of you have already bought it before earnings. And then 47%, overwhelming amount of you so far, I said, not wasting my time. And 20% are saying that they're looking at other social media stocks. And I think that this is definitely that last one, the 20% of you that are looking at other social media stocks is certainly one that I think also makes a ton of sense. Now, listen, I think Snap's going to do quite well. Sorry about this. I'm just looking down here and logging on my Discord. We don't need that distraction, but I'm looking at Snap and thinking to myself, I just don't know if the business model is there yet. They haven't quite figured out how to make money and make money like something like a Meta platforms, right? And you have Meta platforms that is severely undervalued. It's below the valuation of just of the entire S&P 500. And for a company that's bringing in the type of cash flow that they have and an incredible business model, I just don't see how you look at something like Snap that's valued at 111 times next year's earnings, and you look at something like Meta platforms that's valued at around 13 times next year's earnings, and think to yourself, this is probably the better buy. It's a better value. They have the profitability is insane, and yeah, they're seeing a slowing of growth too, but they just don't deserve to be down here at these levels. And I think that that's something certainly worth looking at. Let me check in with some of the comments here. Jeff Chow, first off, Brad, hair, what up with it? It's just all over the place today. You know what's the I have these headphones in. So usually I have the over the head headphones, and so you don't really actually see the hair for what it is because it's all pulled back like this, right? This is the normal Brad you're used to seeing. So I appreciate you noticing, Jeff. I really do. But let me know what you guys are looking at. So there's your Snap earnings expectations. What do I think is going to happen here? I honestly, I really am usually I have a pretty good understanding of where I think earnings are going to land with Snap, man, and with all of the other companies that have reported so far already, it makes it interesting, right? Because here we have Netflix that came in, they were losing subscribers 2 quarters in a row. They only forecasted 1 million subscriber growth for the current quarter, and they come in and crush it at 2.4 million. And then they forecast a 4.5 million subscriber growth for the current quarter that we're already in. Then you have all the banks that do really well. Procter & Gamble, some of the other companies that have pricing power, of course. But Netflix doesn't have pricing power. You know what? I'm gonna remain bullish on this. I think Snap comes in and actually beats earnings. I think they beat earnings, and I think they come in at a comfortable level as far as monthly active users are concerned. The DAUs also should be important. I think that just given the way that the earnings season has gone so far, it would be almost foolish to kind of bet against it at this point. That's just my opinions. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, what your thoughts are on Snap and where we're headed with that. Now, Snap, of course, isn't the only earnings that we're going to be reacting to. We also have CSX. The transports have been just beating the hell along with everything else. But this has actually kind of been perplexing to me because we still need, it's not that the transports have all that the pricing power there isn't as strong as something like a Procter & Gamble, for example, but they still have a decent amount of pricing power. They should have been able to carry on some of the higher costs, such as energy and what have you, to the consumer. And they just haven't been able to really see that reflected in the stock. I mean, they have in the company themselves and in their balance sheets, but for whatever reason, the stocks here, CSX, Union Pacific, they just haven't really had the same type of moves that you would expect. The CSX is only down 27%. And I say only when we compare it to something like Snap, 27% year to date. Over the last 52 weeks, it's down 21 and a half. Looking at forward PE on CSX, it's actually pretty decently priced here at 14.99 times next year's earnings with a $60 billion market cap. The expected earnings per share for CSX trains is 49 cents per share, $3.75 billion in revenue is the expectation there. Last time around, they actually ended up beating earnings and giving decent guidance. They beat earnings by 4 cents. The expectation was 47. They came in at 51. They beat revenue expectations as well, coming in at $3.82 billion, which is about 150 million more than what was expected. And I think that they're going to do the same thing here. I think CSX is going to be just fine. They have decent pricing power and a relatively decent dividend as well. I don't think that there's anything to worry about with CSX as a company. The stock, of course, has been absolutely terrible, but the company itself, they're doing just fine. I think that these are depressed prices that will get bought up at some point if you guys are looking at something like the transports like a Union Pacific or CSX. Next, we have a Fat Man Zoom favorite. If you guys haven't checked out Fat Man Zoom's channel, he gives us all an update over at the Hitchhiker's Guide to Cancer. I know a lot of you guys have been asking about them, and it's been a pretty challenging time for Fat Man Zoom over the last 3-4 days. Go check. Actually, you know what? Here, I'm going to share that with you guys. I know a lot of you guys have been asking about Fat Man Zoom, so I'll share his channel. You guys, I'm sure, probably want to know what he's been up to, and I can't. I'll say this: it's been really tough, to say the least. Of course, on Fat Man Zoom, it's been tough on me too. Tough on a lot of us who love and care about him. But there's your link. Go check out the Fat Man Zoom update there if you guys want to see what he's been up to. Either way, Fat Man Zoom's living life, and I'm so. I don't know what the word is. So just in awe of just how he's been handling the situation. So, anyways, getting back into the stocks here, we do have the Boston Beer Company, as I mentioned, Fat Man Zoom favorite. They've been just absolutely decimated as well. Year to date, stocks down 35, almost 36% over the last year. 52 weeks, around the same, around 34% down over the last 52 weeks. Forward PE on this is at 36 times next year's earnings, so that's still expensive. It's still expensive. I'm not gonna sugarcoat this. Sam Adams, the Boston Beer Company, is expensive. Expected earnings per share here are at $3.17. Last time around, they actually beat expectations, but not by much. Revenue is expected to come in around $566 million. There's been no upward revisions on this at all. Last time around, though, they came in and beat revenue expectations too. Do they have the capacity to pass this on to the customer? As far as inflation is concerned, extra costs, higher costs, can they pass those on? I'm going to say yes. And the reason I say this is because you look at something like a Brown-Forman or a Philip Morris or what have you, and if we're expected to go into a time of recession or, God forbid, a depression, I think that there is reason to believe that these type of companies and these types of services do really well during hard times. People still go after their vices, and I think that that's certainly worth considering. Does Sam come in and beat earnings? I think they do, and I feel good about that. All right. What happened to BitBoy, says Riggs. I don't know. What happened to BitBoy? Let me know in the comments. I don't know. I don't keep track of all of the YouTubers out there, so you have to let me know. Checking in on some of the comments here. Duke says, what up? Great content. Thanks, bro. Appreciate it. Cinestyle says, I am playing Snap because I'm 0 for 2 on earnings. Wrong on Netflix, wrong on Tesla, and I think Snap misses. So I'm doing the opposite. So I'm guessing that you went bearish on Netflix and Tesla. Oh, no, I'm sorry. You went bearish on Netflix and then went bullish on Tesla, I'm guessing. So now that you're betting that Snap misses. Okay. Chris Edwards says that I just think Google is way too cheap to waste time on Snap. Bro, 100%. So, you heard me talk about Meta, but Alphabet's in the same boat. Alphabet's so cheap right now. Danny Lovell is still in that same camp. Savvy Money Show added to Meta too. So yeah, I mean, Snap is certainly worth watching, but it's not worth watching, in my opinion, to invest in. I think, in my opinion, it's worth watching to uh, see what the other stocks are, how the other stocks are going to react, and make your play based off of that. Uh, Snookeroo says, yeah, let's take a look at the chart. So of Sam, oops, sorry about this. Let me pull up Sam's chart here. I've been like babbling this whole time, and you guys haven't even really had a chance to look at the charts here. So I'll pull up Sam. Maybe there we go. Oops, come on. There we are. So here's Sam, Boston Beer Company. I think this is actually a really decent play. I don't think there's anything that would tell me that I should just sell this straight out of the gate. Stock's down slightly here. The market's officially closed. Let's check back in with Snap. Let's go to the 5-minute chart here. Let's see where we're at. So Snap right now, starting to make a move up. It's at 2.5% after hours, after closing the day in the red, just slightly though. Really making a move now. I'm going to pull up those earnings numbers here. Let's see here if those numbers are in. It looks like they are. Snap. Here we go. Come on, baby. What we got? Don't have those numbers just yet, but the stock is screaming right now. Now up 2.5%. We'll see if I bring this over so you guys can get a better look at it here. There we go. Now it's struggling to stay green here. Doesn't look like I have those numbers out just yet. Maybe this is just a reactionary. David, 100%. Be careful. This is what happened. This Tesla went up and crashed. Absolutely. Don't disagree with you there. Can I give this another refresh to see if those numbers are out just yet? So far, I'm not seeing anything. Nope. This just looks like some pre-earnings manipulation. So it doesn't look like those numbers are out just yet. Going to take a look at a couple other ones that we're, of course, watching. We didn't touch on Whirlpool just yet, but I will be happy to cover this one. Oops. Take a look at that Whirlpool chart. WHR is a ticker symbol there. Stock looked like it jumped right out of the gate. It's only up around 70.75 points. So no reaction to that just yet. Their expectations, though, were $5.35 per share. No upward revisions on this at all. Revenue is expected to come in at $5.15 billion. They missed pretty horribly across the board on earnings last time around. So we'll see if it's redemption time for Whirlpool. But as mentioned, one of our viewers right now is actually short on Whirlpool. I don't think that's a bad idea. I think Whirlpool is probably not going to do well. Presto X says IV intrinsic value is 450% shorted options instead. Damn. That's crazy. That is crazy. Let's go back to Snap. Oops. Let's go back to Snap. Oh, Whirlpool is tanking. So money's being made there. Snap just turned red. Nope. Now it's back to green. It's so crazy. All right. Pretty wild moves here. I'll check back in on Whirlpool since that's the one that's actually moving. That stock's now down 7%. Great call on that. Whoever was short on this. Who went short on this? I saw somebody. Here we go. Tuan Lei. Is it Tuan Lei? I butcher names, so sorry if I butchered your name as well. Don't feel bad. But Whirlpool, this ticker symbol again, WHR, that stock is getting absolutely hammered. And here are the numbers. So as I mentioned, the expectation here was $5.35 per share. $5.15 billion in revenue was expected. The numbers here are as follows. It looks like they are at $5 per share. $5 flat is the earnings per share. So a miss on that. It looks as if revenue came in. Why can't they just be clear about this? Net sales $4.78 billion. So a miss on revenue as well. It looks like Whirlpool shit the bed pretty badly based off of what expectations were. They're blaming short-term macro headwinds and provide an update on portfolio transformation. They see ongoing earnings per share of $19 for the fiscal year. The expectation was 20 to 24. That's another bad guidance. Jesus. Yeah, $4.78 billion in revenue. The expectation was 5.15. They missed everywhere. $4.49 on earnings per share. The estimation again was at 5.34. So they just absolutely shit all over that quarter, and the stock's of course reacting accordingly. It's now down 5%. So trying to claw its way back here, but really nothing going on with Whirlpool. That's a shame for those of you who are long in it. But if you guys went short, you all are eating today. Let's check back in on some of the other ones that might have started moving here. I'm looking in on CSX right now. Stock now up 2.5%. And guys, if you're just tuning in, first of all, if you're enjoying the stream so far, I certainly would appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button or that notification bell. You get notified when I go live every day at 3:45 p.m. Eastern time, Monday through Thursday. I react to all of these earnings that come out. Snap, of course, is the headliner for the day, but we're reacting to some of the other ones that came out. Whirlpool was one that just released their earnings, and they were terrible. They missed on earnings per share. They missed revenue. The guidance also missed. They missed everywhere. Not good for Whirlpool right now if you're a shareholder there. CSX did come out with earnings. It looks like right now the stock is up quite a bit. So I like this stock right now. And let's see here. It looks like they beat. We're going to pull up those numbers. So they came in at 52 cents. As I'd mentioned, CSX was expected to come in at 49. So they beat by 3 cents. $3.75 billion was the expected revenue. They came in at $3.9 billion. So they beat by $150 million there. Good solid quarter for CSX. This isn't a surprise to me. You guys heard me before the close. I talked about how I actually liked the transports, and I was kind of surprised that we ended up seeing some of the transports actually move down based off of their earnings, because their earnings have been pretty damn good. I would imagine guidance here is also good. I'll be coming back to that on those guidance numbers. Let's check back in on the chart. You guys can see that stock is moving pretty damn good. Let's see. It's up 3% now, moving quite nicely. No reaction from Snap just yet. So it doesn't look like those earnings are out. As soon as they are, though, guys, I will certainly be sharing those with you. But we're reacting right now to CSX that absolutely crushed earnings and is looking pretty damn good here after hours, now up nearly 4%, reacting to those earnings. I'll check back in with you guys on some of the stuff that you're saying. I also wanted to check back in with the poll here. So if you guys didn't see at the beginning of the show, I put out a YouTube poll. Are you buying Snap? Some 20% of you said that you were waiting till after earnings to buy this. 17% said before earnings. So some of you guys are willing to take some risk here. 48% of you said not wasting my time. And this is out of 127 votes. And then 16% are saying that you're looking at other social media stocks. So let's tune back in here. It looks like Snap actually might be moving. Yeah, stock is now down 11%. Damn. Damn, damn, damn. Yeah, it has been so hard to actually make any kind of calls in this earnings season so far. It has been all over the place. I'm not surprised that Snap is tanking right now, but it is certainly um, disheartening. So Snap revenue came in at 1.13 billion versus the 1.14 that was expected. So a clear miss there as well. Q3, um, let's look at this. Adjusted earnings per share, 8 cents, loss of 2.2 cents. So that was expected. So it looks like they actually beat on earnings per share, but missed on revenue. Adjusted EBITDA at 72.6 million versus the 24 million expected. Um, let's see here. Yeah, loss of 8 cents. So loss of 8 cents. So okay. They missed earnings. A loss of 8 cents. The expectation, as I'd mentioned, was a loss of 2. So they missed earnings per share. Then they come in with revenue at 1.13 billion, missing those expectations of 1.14. Now, as we all know, earnings per share and revenue, of course, is part of the equation with, especially with social media stocks, but investors are really looking for growth. So what are the other tangibles here? And it's going to be monthly active users. It's going to be those daily active users. What about ARPU, revenue per user? That's going to be certainly the numbers that we're going to be looking at as well. And as soon as those numbers come in, I'll of course share those with you. But the stock's already reacting not great, and it's down now around 17%, just continuing to get absolutely crushed. Remember, this stock was at $80 a share almost a year ago. That's insane. That is insane, guys. Snap's continuing to get crushed. Some of you guys are already reacting to this. Juan Lay says Snap is dead. Snap isn't going anywhere, says Stop Console Wars. It's not dead. Strange that Airbnb dropped in sympathy with Snap. That is strange. I don't really understand that. I think it's just all of tech probably is the reason why. And yeah, let's check in with some of the other ones. As I had mentioned at the top of the show, I had mentioned that Alphabet was going to probably move in tandem with this. So let's take a look at GOOGL. That stock is now down around 2%. You can see the immediate reaction to those Snap earnings, and that's probably going to continue to fall there. Let's look at Meta Platforms. That now is down 4%. No surprise to see these moving along with Snap. And surprisingly enough, Twitter is non-reactionary. You got to wonder if this is because of Elon Musk and his involvement in Twitter, right? I mean, the stock's going to be bought at $54.20. It's not going to move all that much because of that sale. So that doesn't surprise me too much on that movement there. But you can see, of course, the ad revenue heavy or ad revenue dependent platforms such as Meta Platforms and Alphabet moving down moving down with Snap, as Snap is now down 18, almost 19% after hours, after missing earnings per share and also missing earnings or revenue estimates. Just checking in on some of your guys' comments here. Ganesh says, I'm not bothered by Snap, but Meta and Goog, which Snap will pull down. Yeah, that's exactly what's happening. I did want to check in with Airbnb. I see a couple people now mentioning that Airbnb is moving down with it. Let's take a look. I wouldn't say that it is. It's barely down after hours. No correlation there at all. Meta Platforms is getting hammered though, now down 4%. Alphabet is too, now down 2.5%. Snap is still getting crushed, now down 19% after hours. Looks like it was down as much as 20%. Yikes. Getting absolutely crushed right now. Absolutely crushed. Checking back in on some of these other on further details on the report. I want to give you guys more than just, hey, they beat or they didn't. Let me see if I can give you some more on that. They didn't provide guidance for Q4, which is very concerning. So they have no idea where the stock or where the company is going to be going for Q4. No clear guidance on that. That's also, another strike against them. They did authorize a stock buyback of up to $500 million. La-di-da. I don't think that's not anything really that anybody's going to give a shit about, considering that they have no growth. and it looks as if they've continued to just not be able to make money. A loss of 8 cents is serious, guys. They were expected a loss of 2 cents, came in at a loss of 8, missed on revenue, barely, but still missed on revenue nevertheless. Let's take a look and see if there's anything else I can find for you guys. But this is why the stock is getting absolutely hammered. Snap isn't popping off, but this channel is, guys. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and hit that like if you're enjoying the stream so far. We got about 47 likes in here with 209 of you guys watching. First of all, I appreciate you at least watching. Thanks so much for that. But if you are appreciating the stream and appreciating the coverage, hit that thumbs up. I'd love to have that support. So it looks like, according to CNBC, that Snap expects Q4 revenue growth to be flat. So 0 growth for Snap. And I guess we have now new questions from this earnings report, right? Here we go. Daily active users, 363 million versus the 359 that was estimated. So that's actually good. But everything else is just what's bringing the stock down. That is very interesting. User growth is up, and investors are not caring one iota about anything else. That all they're concerned about now with is clearly the guidance, right, or lack thereof, I should say, and the revenue and earnings miss. Stocks get absolutely crushed right now. See, a lot of you guys, looks like Philly style went and bought himself some puts. Shorts could reverse position soon for at least a decent bounce, maybe tomorrow, but maybe next week. Yeah, Philly style. Again, I want to point to the daily active users and beating those estimates. I think that's at least worth taking a look at. Acidane says, buy SQQQ for tomorrow morning. NASDAQ will be down 5% tomorrow morning. I'll tell you what, these people who make outlandish claims is hilarious. The Qs are not going to be down 5% tomorrow. You know that means that you're saying that the Qs are going to be halted tomorrow. That's hilarious. Not happening. Okay, looking at what Froggy's saying here. He says my Goog calls will expire worthless tomorrow. Well, hopefully you didn't take too much out on those. Z-Writer says, can they monetize this growth? I'll tell you what, Z-Writer. Up until this point, they haven't been able to do that. They just haven't. I don't see how they're going to be able to do it moving forward, which is interesting because, yeah, we're seeing Meta platforms move down as a result of what's going on with Snap. And we're also seeing Alphabet move down. But these are very different companies from Snap. So if I'm an investor of Meta or Google or Alphabet, and I look at Snap and I'm thinking, okay, we already know that Snap doesn't know how to make money with their platform, but the growth certainly looks good. And I know that Google and Meta know how to make money with their users. So if Snap is growing in users, theoretically, so should these platforms be growing in eyeballs. So do I look at them and say, if they're growing potentially, does this also mean that they should come in with higher than expected earnings? Now, granted, listen, in times of a recession, the first thing that gets cut in budgets is going to be ad spend. It's just what happens. So there's certainly a lot of still risk involved, right? But I think there's something to be said with the daily active users growing and, with something like Snap, and we already know that they don't know how to make money, but these other platforms do. It's just a question worth asking, right? Something to ponder on, at least in my opinion. Mutt Bob doubling down, it looks like, on Snap, says, I just bought more Snap at 835. Yeah, and where are the Snap bulls, right? Who's actually bought more Snap just off of this? You gonna play the overreaction, perhaps? Ooh, now we're starting to have this conversation, right? Z-Writer says maybe there's a bigger player out there looking to buy Snap. I don't know. I don't know who would buy Snap or who would actually be interested in it. To be honest with you, I'm not even sure Snap is going to stick around for a while, for that much longer if this keeps up. Savvy Mena Shows chimes in, says they said ad spend goes when COVID crash happened. Google and Meta improved. Yes, agreed. Great point. Stop Console Wars says Snap could fall under 6 by January after the muddy waters of December and all the negative sentiment around it. That'd be a great high and hold to me. Yeah, I mean, that would be really cheap. Philly style, Snap around this price is not bad now, especially at least for the long term. I would agree with that. If you're looking for long term, maybe that's the play. I would like to see what else is going on here with some of the other ones that we're reporting. So CSX is maintaining their gains. They actually crushed earnings this time around. It looks like we could potentially be seeing a little bit of a bull flag here on CSX. Meta is still getting absolutely hammered. It's now down 5% after hours. And guys, I got to say, look, Snap's starting to look attractive down here. It's now down 23% after hours. It's now down to $8.30. What the hell, man? That is wild. But look at Meta. Let's zoom this out. We go to the monthly chart. And each one of these candles, if you guys aren't aware, represents 1 month. And we are now looking at levels that we hadn't seen out of Meta platforms since December of 2018. Now you got to ask yourself, in the last 4 years, has Meta platforms grown? The answer is yes. Has Meta platforms made more money? The answer is also yes. Are they undervalued? The valuation of let me confirm this. Let me double check. Because last time I checked, I think it was around 13 times next year's earnings. So, we'll determine as whether or not this was expensive or not. Valuation here, it's got a market cap at $356 billion. No tiny stock, but yes, 13 times next year's earnings. So yes, it's a good value. It's cheap. Do they have good, decent cash flow? They're bringing in $40 billion a year. Are you kidding me? Now, growth has been slow, of course, slower, but not to the point to where I think it should be back down to 2018 levels, and not to the point to where I think it should be at 13 times next year's earnings. So if I'm looking at Snap right now and I'm thinking to myself, all right, they had a terrible quarter. It's shitty. But and maybe they could be on the cheap here. But when I look at Meta platforms and the moat that they have, Snap doesn't have a whole lot of alternate types of revenue that they're planning on bringing in. Meta does. So does Alphabet. And so I think that this is certainly worth taking a look at. Risk reward still looks good here, in my opinion, on Meta platforms, especially now that it's down at these levels that we hadn't seen in 4 damn years. We're down below the pandemic lows. That's insane to me. That's insane for a company like Meta Platforms. Like them or hate them, they know how to make money, period. Alphabet, the same type of situation. Alphabet actually has maybe potentially a little bit more to come down if you look at the chart itself. So again, this is the monthly chart. The 50-month average is at $90.15. And based off of the monthly, it looks like Alphabet could potentially come down here and revisit this. Now, of course, earnings could change all of that, but right now, as it stands, it doesn't look like it's going to anytime soon. So keep an eye on that 50-month average. Either way, I think that these all look like really decent buys over a Snap. As I'd mentioned at the top of the show, I talked about how Snap was going to influence the movement on a lot of these stocks, but it doesn't mean that Snap, in my opinion, is worth picking up. If you guys want to take a chance on it, if you want to take some risk about you, then sure, by all means. But I think that I would be more inclined to put more money into something like a Meta Platforms or Alphabet in this conversation than something like a Snap. And which is interesting because the poll that I put out at the top of the show, 158 of you have now participated in. Are you buying Snap? And the options are after hours or after earnings. 22% still say yes. Before earnings, 15% of you guys bought before earnings. My sympathies. 51% of you are not wasting your time, and only 13 are looking at other social media outlets. So it looks like the majority of you aren't even giving a second look at any of the social media or media related platforms, which I find interesting, especially at these lower levels, right? And I would be willing to bet the majority of those people that aren't giving the social media platforms or these tech stocks the time of day were the ones that bought them way higher than where they're at right now. So if you loved them then, why not love them now? If you loved Alphabet at $125 a share or at $150 a share for, and this is where this was bought for several months, if you loved it then, why don't you love it now? And what's crazy is that even at these levels where it's at 150 bucks a share, by all accounts, Alphabet was also cheap then too. You look at Alphabet's valuation. I just got done telling you that Meta was at 13 times next year's earnings, and you look at a Alphabet, and that is also dirt cheap. That is sitting right now at 19 times next year's earnings, so just slightly above uh, what the entire S&P is. This is a company that's still growing like crazy. The revenue is bringing in more than what most countries do as far as their GDP is concerned. Stop console wars. I can't agree with you more, bro. Guys, do yourself a favor and go look at the new Oculus. Stupid. Meta Platforms is going to make so much stupid money off of that. I'm telling you. Jeff Chocolate says, I can't own all the tech stocks. Had to pick a few and went with Apple instead. Ooh, that's an interesting one. I mean, nobody says you can't own Apple and Alphabet. But I hear what you're saying. Danny Lovell says, to be honest, not wasting my time, but I'm certainly looking to buy more Alphabet. Acidane says, PE is all about the growth. Meta stopped growing, companies stopped advertising. PE is not all about the growth, actually. Bro, do some research. I appreciate you. I don't know. I love the fact that you show up every day and watch the show. But think about some things that you say before you say them. Where is Thursday Freddy, says Karim. Freddy's off doing bigger and better things. So just to give you guys you guys haven't asked about Freddie for a while, but I'll give you an update on Freddie. He's pursuing his dream in comedy on a near full-time basis. He's actually in Kentucky right now doing a little bit of a tour there. Bro's crushing it. Bro's just doing a really amazing job. He's been making a lot of trips to New York and doing really well up there. Don't be surprised you see Freddie on TV or on the big screen sometime. I'm telling you. He's got that. He's got that gift. Share his YouTube channel for sport. Oh, yeah. I'll share Freddie's. Here, I'll pull it up. The Mafia. I'll do that for you. No problem. Go follow Freddie, too, on IG. It's at Freddie Valoy. I'll put that in there. At Freddie. And he's hilarious, by the way. At Freddie Valoy is his Instagram. That's where he's most active on. He does a podcast with a couple of other comedians. Also has his YouTube channel as well, if you guys want to follow him there. I know we're going off topic a little bit, but that's okay. We can do that. There you go. There's Freddie's channel. Dominicans in the house. That's right. That's what's up. I appreciate you. I know Freddie well too. He does have a great name, right? That's his God-given name. His parents gave him that name, Freddie Valoy, and it's a great stage name. All right. What is that? Atma on the inner tubes says, I will not buy Oculus device while it requires Facebook linkage, full stop. Zuckerberg wants my personal data. They can pay me for it. Listen, I understand that, but I understand your sentiment, and you're not alone in that. I think there's a lot of people that agree with that, and I'm one of them, right? Like I'm certainly one that takes up issue with it. But I'm just telling you, people are going to buy the Oculus regardless. They just are. All right, checking back in. Let's go back to the 5-minute chart and just check back in with Snap real quick. And I'm looking at Sam, the Boston Beer Company, and it hasn't moved at all. So I don't know what's going on with those earnings. I guess they're not out. I wanted to react to those, but I don't know when they're going to be coming. Checking back in with CSX real quick. That stock is moving up. Let's go back to the 5-minute chart. Still moving up here. It's now up 5.5%. Meta Platforms now down 4.5%. Not as low as it was. Alphabet also trying to claw its way back. If we take a look at Snap, it's now down almost 25% after hours. Absolutely ugly move, guys. Pretty crazy. So if you guys are just tuning in, Snap is actually down because they missed on earnings per share, they missed on revenue, and then didn't give guidance. And that's those are the biggest reasons why Snap is down. CSX was the only company this afternoon so far that looks like that actually beat earnings and did well. Whirlpool came in, shit the bed too, still getting crushed as well. All right, so that's going to do it for today's show. And for me for the week. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Thanks so much for doing so. Make sure you go check out my Patreon as well at patreon.com/ownthechaos. Would love to have you guys over there. But really, at the end of the day, just hit subscribe, watch this channel, continue to support me. I certainly would appreciate it. I got a lot of other business ventures that I'm working on as well. I have a sports channel. It's called Chaos Sports. You can go check us out. I'm actually going to give my top NFL games that I'm looking at this week. I'm starting another channel, guys. Another channel. It's crazy. Maybe I'm crazy. I'm probably a little bit nuts, but I can't wait for this channel to come out. It's going to be awesome. Stay tuned, guys. Hit that subscribe, hit that notification bell. I'll see you guys next Monday at 3:45 p.m. Bye. See ya.